Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be back with you all on what has been a humid and rainy Wednesday here in the Chicagoland area, but it is my favorite time of the year, so I will not complain. I love this
Mm,
favorite weather. I am back for another evening of your favorite reality news entertainment show. We have a lot to talk about coming up on the show this evening. We have a public relations professional coming by to talk to us about the racial justice movement and how we can influence the media narrative around the change. This young lady who's joining us tonight has been practicing public relations for over 13 years. She's a proven leader. She's worked with such companies as Ebony Magazine, Affleck, Pringles, Nike, and Target, just to name a few of her particular clients. And then, how many of you all have heard about the COVID-15? I know you guys are used to hearing COVID-19, but COVID-15 is something that a lot of us have experienced over this quarantine stay in place. As we always hear about people going off to college and gaining that 15 pounds in college. Well, a lot of us have gained what's called the COVID-15, and we have the Jay-Z and Beyonce of fitness. Let me put it like this: the Jay-Z and Beyonce of fitness, a couple who will come by tonight to talk to us about what we can do to help get rid of some of that COVID-15 weight gain. Well, my very
mm.
special co-host tonight is a good friend of mine of many, many years. We go back to our teenage years. Father, actor, comedian, husband, all around great guy. He has been stuck in the house this entire quarantine. I gotta give you credit.
Ooh.
You look good tonight. You look all cleaned up, and you obviously have been to a groomer, much like myself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. My buddy, the one and only actor and comedian, Rome Anthony. Hey, brother.
Hey, all right, how's it going, people?
How you
Man,
doing,
yes,
brother?
I had to clean this up, man. I had to get it together. I tried to be brave. I tried to say, you know what, I'm gonna wear my hairline. I'm 56 years old and I'm proud of the way I look. And then when I saw Madagascar right here, and then it was like a cul-de-sac to this, I was like, nah, no. I gave in. I had to shave it all off and trim it. The hairline wasn't working with me. All right, it was so unfair. I don't know how I hate people with hair like you, and I have to do this. You younger than me and you got more hair than me. I hate it.
Well, now, Rome, let
It's
me. I love you. Let me justify this. As you know, even when we were growing up, you had great hair when we were growing up. I always had great hair. I've worn my hair multiple ways, buttered, braided.
yes.
I've had every hairstyle a man and a woman could have. Are you kidding me? I've had every hairstyle.
Okay.
So I am
Mm-hmm.
actually blessed to be able to still have hair on my head because when I was diagnosed with my cancer, the doctors told me
Mm-hmm.
my hair was going to be the first thing that I would lose. And so
Oh,
the reason I'm wearing the dreadlocks now is this is kind of like a victory. This is kind of like, the doctor
okay.
said you would not be able to keep the hair or your hair would be a problem from here on out. And God proved wrong. And so, don't hate. Look, don't hate because please don't.
Right.
Don't. I tell
Right.
people, right. This is all God's doing, and my loctician. But that's how it all came about, bro. But you're right. You're right. I think with men, the hair thing is a really tender spot. Am I right or wrong?
Totally. Because you know what? My friends used to put their beer on my head because I had that circle. Like, yo, this is perfect beer hold. And I was so it's brutal because nobody wants to lose their hair. So they said I was scaring them, but they was teasing me in the meantime, and I was just like, you know what, I'm cutting it off, cutting it off. It's
Oh, did you have that
humiliating.
little? Did you have that little
Yes,
eagle nest?
yes,
Oh
yes,
yeah, that little eagle nest. Yeah, that little eagle nest
yes,
worries me. Yeah, I get
yes.
it. When did it start surfacing?
When I had my locks, one day Tasha had finished grooming me, and I went to go get dressed or something. I did my hands like this, and it was a lock in my. I was like, what the heck? And she went in, and look, the lock was thick like my thumb, but real thin on the end because my hair stopped thinning and it was too heavy. So the lock started pulling from that area, and I was just like, let it go. I just let it go because she's like, you can keep it. I said, I'm not about to have a lock over. I let
Right.
it go.
You don't want to have a lock over. You don't want to have a lock over, right? Well,
No.
here's the funniest thing. I wanted to go down this journey. I've gone down it. I think it's great. I would wait till I was an age where I have menopause and all this damn hair on my head. So you already know that's a hot mess. But if a circumstance or situation change, I'll cut this off in a minute and be sitting up looking like you. And then in a year, I'll have a pressing curl. So I mean, it's just one of them things. Now, I hope my hair will continue to keep growing, but I know a lot of guys said it just stops growing after a while.
You know what? It stops growing nice. That's the truth. Like I can have a head full of hair, not be seen in public. Because during this COVID-19, I had about this much hair back here. I was looking like Bozo's grandfather, something. It was just like, it was weird. And then I don't know if you remember when in high school I had a Willow's Peak. So the Willow Peak was thick right here. And
okay.
then this, nothing. I was like, what am I gonna do with that?
Well, now,
do with that?
That's so funny you mentioned that, because I have a new groomer now, and my new groomer, when I went to see them once we were out of this, whatever, the new groomer was like, "Oh, you have an Eddie," and I was like, "No, that's a new hairline." I was like, "Look, when I wear my hair down, you need to figure out how to incorporate that Eddie in so what the hell is an Eddie? The Eddie Monster?"
Yes, that's the nickname. It's a Willow's Peak. But everybody, but during our era, remember in the commercial on WGN, "Oh Eddie, we love you from the hoof of your feet to the Willow Peak of your whatever."
Right,
that was the thing. Yeah.
Right. Well, here's the deal. I told him, I said, "Look, bro, I just need you to take all this new hairline that's been created and work it into this hair." I said, "Now, when I wear my hair down, it needs to all look like it's swooshing out and all that." And he did whatever he needed to do, and now he has a new customer. But I didn't know what the hell an Eddie was. And then a friend of mine the other day said he has a cowlick, and I had heard of that. But these are terms I hadn't heard in years. These were terms that our daddies and granddaddies and folks was using. So I guess now, but we got licks and eddies and eddies and licks. I don't know. That sounds like a sex thing, don't it?
No, not well, okay. but not the way
Eddies
I'm looking at it. But yeah, no. I guess what? It's such a soft spot that I can't even be jovial with it. I want my hair back.
Oh my goodness. Well, Rome,
I try not to be shallow, but man, I miss my hair, bro. I ain't gonna even lie. I miss my hair.
Okay, so do you want me to start a GoFundMe to help you get your hair back, or you want to, brother, that's what we do. I mean, me and we've been there since Converse. So I mean, do I start a GoFundMe page to help resprout and grow your hair? And then here's the deal. When my locks fall off, I'm more than happy to give you a few of them, or okay, never mind. So Rome, tell us.
But my wife is a beautician. She wanted to test. She wanted to test that tattoo. Where you put have you seen the guys where they look like they got a very low hairline all over? She wanted to do that with me, because she's all up and coming. She keeps up with the latest technology, and she's like, "Let me do that with you." And I was like, "I will not," because about 10 years ago, I let her do the spray on me, and we took a picture in the basement, and I looked at myself, and I was like, "Oh no, I went straight and washed my hair for like an hour because it was kind of semi-permanent. It just didn't look right on me." I'm like, "That's not me." It was because it gave a perfection that really makes your imperfection stick out.
Oh, okay. Well, I met the gentleman that's the creator of the man weave. He actually, when I was in radio, he was a guest on the show, and he creates man weaves. And from what I understand, he even wears one. And no, he looked great. I mean, I've always been about hair and vanity. So I don't know. If it push came to shove, I probably would end up, doing that eventually. But right now, we're just gonna go ahead with my natural hair. That's what we'll do.
But because I don't have a Scottie Pippen head, I have a beautiful head. I was able to go, you know what, this works for me. When I first cut it, I was walking around like, what people gonna say? There was like women walk up to me and kiss me on my hair, like, "Oh, you working it wrong." So okay, I went with it.
Okay, see, and
So
women
yeah,
kissing you on your head, and this wasn't your wife kissing you on your head.
we won't talk about her because
Oh,
this was this
okay.
was this was this was past tense. I mean, I was with
Right.
my wife, but it was still
Got
past tense.
Okay, I just didn't want you to get your butt whooped while we was on the air tonight. That's all. I just didn't want it to be, your wife watching this show, and the next thing you know, a thing of hot grits will come flying through the room. I just didn't want that to happen. All right.
Right. I mean, she's watching. I'm
Okay.
sure she's thinking like, "What?" I said this was
I know.
past
I
tense.
know. I know. All right. Well, let me do the top news story of the day, and then we'll get back to
Yes.
co-host and good friend. Our state officials here in Illinois announced today an additional 77 new fatalities related to COVID-19 for a statewide
Mhm.
confirmed death toll that now stands at 6,095. Officials also reported today 625 new cases, which pushes our statewide total to 129,837 cases. Earlier on Wednesday, officials confirmed that the death of a 9-month-old was back in March, and it was due to two types of COVID-19. The young man's name was Joseph Myers. He is the youngest known victim so far to die in Cook County of the virus, and he was pronounced dead March 23rd at Mercy Hospital on
Oh,
Chicago's South Side. Isn't that something? And so, Rome, it makes me wonder. We just don't know. Everybody is out buck wild and having a good time, and I'm looking at pictures, and every now and then I do forget my mask, but I do keep them in my bag just in case, or in my pocket. I
yes,
don't go in any
yes,
public without the mask. When I get in the car and go, damn, my mask. I run back in the house and get it, or I have one in a bag in the car, or whatever. But do you think people have become a little too lackadaisical? Because I was looking at reports early that was stating in a lot of these states that have opened back up and they being buck wild, that these numbers are climbing steadily. What do you think?
I have to say I think everybody's too relaxed because I know when I go out and it's nice and I've worn shorts, maybe a small shirt, I have to go. I always have to go back in the house and grab my PPE because I'm comfortable. I'm like, it feels like a regular day, and then I realize, oh no, you got to carry that. And then when you wear the mask, if it's already nice and hot and humid, your breath is adding to that, so it's a discomfort. So I can imagine the young people, they like, I ain't wearing this. They pull it down. I know people that survive, so people are taking risky chances. I'm not gonna do it. But I understand, like I've had my mother, I keep my mother over here, and when it's real nice, I've made my backyard into like a haven for my mother, and she had a friend over the other day, and I just kind of hosted their get together. It was just her and another friend. They had the social distance, but they was catching up. So it's
Go ahead. I'm
mhm.
listening. You say it's
Oh,
risky.
so I just think it's risky, but it's I mean, it's just different. I think we're gonna live in this new way of living, but at the same token, I think people from time to time, including myself, are going to venture off. I mean, I've gone to several barbecues and set my chair outside their yard, like and just like they come in, I said I'm good from over here, and eventually I'm gonna get closer, but it's because it's my family. I did a couple of I participated in drive-by graduation and scholarship celebrations and things like that. But and it's hard, it's different, and it's just a way of celebrating these accomplishments and visiting people. So I'm adjusting, but I see how hard it is. And I'm like I said, I'm an old man. If I was young and full of energy, oh man, please, because some of the girls still be looking cute, but you be wondering like once she moved that mask, what you working with? Do she have a beard like you and me, Art? Or is a grill messed up? It's a whole lot they can hide. And I'd be like, nah, I ain't playing with it.
Right, right. Oh my God. Well, Rome, I've always been a hugger, and everybody hugs me, men, women, the public. And so that has been the biggest adjustment I've had to make. That when people see me out in public now, and I ran into one of my former interns yesterday, and she was like, Chad Daddy. And she was like, oh, I just want to give you a big old hug. And I was like, I know. So we kind of bumped elbows. But then I was noticing they were saying on the news yesterday that people who now bump elbows, really, that's where you're supposed to cough and sneeze at now. So they even saying, don't even bump elbows. But I just kind of lift it up and rub it against you real quick to let you know. But for somebody like me that's a hugger and used to talking to people, and it really is different. And then, man, the masks are hot as hell. They are
Yeah.
hot. Brother, I
I'm
have a beautiful cloth mask, and it has the filter and everything. But what I found to help relieve the breath issue is to take some 100% pure peppermint oil. Take just a dab of that peppermint oil on a Q-tip and hit the nose part, or hit, where your mouth is active at on the outside of that mask. So then you would have the essence of peppermint. Don't do too much now because your ass been passed out. But just do enough. You can do eucalyptus, you can do peppermint, you can do any of those that help you, spearmint, to help you breathe better, but just a little bit, because it can be overpowering, and that helps quite a bit. And it makes it seem like your breath.
I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you're telling me this, because I have the peppermint CBD oil, and I know when because I sell CBD. So when we have our conventions and we have people there, we put it in their hand and we tell them to inhale, and it gives you a burst of energy and all other stuff. And and when people come over, if I had a couple of people over and we're gonna, like, me and my wife is counseling couples, I've put it in the incense oil, the peppermint, and it kind of helps. It's not aromatherapy, it's a different thing, but it changes the tone and the mood. So I'm gonna put that in my mask though, because, and I'm probably gonna put in my mama mask to drug her up to calm her down. But it's
my
a
Lord.
very relaxed.
Oh my Lord. Stop incriminating yourself on my damn show. That's all I'm saying. Stop incriminating yourself. All right. Huh?
I take care of it. I can do what I want to do.
Are you so funny? You are. Well, I want to continue on with our top news stories. I am so sorry that yesterday we didn't get a chance to acknowledge the passing of a true Chicago icon. Yesterday we had Dick Johnson from NBC Channel 5 to pass away,
Yeah.
and we were just all blown away by that yesterday, as well as we were talking about George Floyd's funeral. Well, on Monday, Chicago icon Claire Kirk of Claire's House passed away. As you guys all know, she was an Inglewood philanthropist and humanitarian. She was responsible for such places as Claire's House, Claire's Place, Claire's Academic Center, which was all over in the Inglewood neighborhood. For many years, I would go to her fundraiser and donate money and different things to help the organization. And she truly was a pioneer here in the city of Chicago and across the country. She died on Monday at the age of 79. So we do want to acknowledge the fact that a true Chicagoan, a true woman that was selfless in all the things that she did, Claire Kirk of Claire's House, has passed away at the age of 79. So we wanted to bring that up as well too. Rome, anything in the news you want to bring up right now?
Well, the one thing I've been irritating people with is I'm 100% behind defunding the police department in this entire country. Because as people start to understand, defunding don't mean you're getting rid of it. It's like quid pro quo. You're not going to commit to engaging with the community in the serve and protect model, then we're going to defund you. And then I also said, I've added, they need to change the funding for when there's lawsuits against any police department, it should come out of their retirement. We need to hit them in their pockets, because we know one thing about white folks. Money is their bottom line. I don't care. Morality is something. Yeah, we let's pray for them. Let's take a moment of silence. Are we gonna give them money? Oh, no. We already prayed for them, so we know how to get their attention. Defund the extracurricular parts of the police department and make sure that the lawsuits that are granted to these victims hit their pension fund. Once they take a couple of hits, watch them say, you know what, let's stop this. Because see, they can kill black people and then go retire for 50 years on tax dollars. That needs to stop.
Right. I'm with you 100% on that. Absolutely. I think the whole thing needs to be overhauled. Our governor, as well as our mayor, has announced that, all law enforcement agents need to be licensed. What's that? Oh, when you were a cop.
I'm showing people I'm a retired police officer, so I'm not just talking about, oh, I dislike the police. I was one
Right.
of those police officers that once I had the honor of being sworn in, I took that honor serious. I felt like I have an opportunity to uplift my community, and I was a community police officer. So I rode the bike. I was up and close and personal in the schools. I even taught math at Sir Journal Truth over in Cabrini Green on a weekly basis because the kids would listen to me, and I'm just very good with math figures. I guess because I'm a graduate from DeVry, so I understand figures and numbers. So it was the principal hired me when I got laid off, and I after a couple of days in the public school without a badge, I quit. I was like, those kids listened to me as long as I had the badge. The minute I took that badge off and I walked in the regular shirt, they were like, "Get your little goof." I was like, "Wow."
See. Well, we've got to do whatever we can to help influence our young people to do the right thing, to not, fall in the cracks of all the pits of hell. And so it's good to know that somebody like you that was in law enforcement at least went back to help our youth and to nurture them and try to help them to live a better life. So I applaud you for
Still
that.
do.
Yes, I
Still
know
do.
you
I
do.
still go to Inglewood. Yes.
I know
It's
you
not
do.
the law enforcement, it's individual. That's why when you're going to always hear that all cops are not bad. But here's the thing, if you don't hold the department, the whole principal accountable, that allows them. And I still say we need to defund them and change it. We shouldn't even call them police no more because remember, police was designed for one thing: slave catching. So how do you
Mhm.
go from slave catching to serve and protect? They never changed in the black community.
Right.
Because I totally disagree with retraining police officers. You can't retrain somebody's heart. Because you notice you see white people with guns and knives and spitting on cops and they're sitting there and they're like, sir, you need to calm down. Black
Right.
person with a cell phone, some juju mints and anything else other than just because you're black, it's so that is getting that's just getting frustrating. Every time I talk about it, I get frustrated. I can't even talk straight because it's just so frustrating. I was watching Oprah last night, I think, when she had all the new people on talking about the status of today, and there was this one black woman that got on and she went in. Did you see the video where she's like,
I
she
I
was
did not, but I heard a
behind
lot
the
of
riots?
feedback of what happened last night. I'm gonna watch it tonight or tomorrow, but I heard a lot of
Yeah.
feedback, and there was a lot of people that felt as if Oprah's presentation last night was the same usual suspects, the same people that would have the same narrative when she really should be talking to people in the streets, people in the hood, people who are really oppressed. So I don't know, but that was a lot of the feedback that I got. Even
No,
I've not seen the
no,
show yet. I've not
you ain't
seen it.
see it. The
Okay.
video that I'm talking about right now, Ava DuVernay sent this video to Oprah, and Oprah showed it. It was a young lady at one of the protests slash riots, and she went in. She was like, "You telling us to not to destroy our community? This ain't our community. We don't own the stores. We don't own the cleaners. We don't own the gas station. We have no vested interest. So everything that went up in smoke didn't belong to us." And then she went on. She was smart and very passionate. She like, America broke its promise. You were supposed to give us 40 acres and a mule. Didn't do that. And then after we pulled up our own bootstraps and we built Oklahoma, and we built Rosewood. The American government bombed Rosewood. The American government looked the other way when they came after Rosewood. And so every time we become self-sufficient and build wealth, the government is allowed individuals to use the government to knock us back down. In 2008, all the black people who can afford to buy homes and residential property for investment, they all lost everything. But they knew when they were selling it to us that it was over. What's the appraised? Like my house was appraised almost at 200,000. Now it's like 140. So I lost 60,000, and I've been in the same house since '98. So it just went up and went back down. They were over appraising it so that if I did sell it, somebody would get caught off. And so this country is every day we're seeing that. And the one thing I like about this pandemic art is everybody sitting still. If I wouldn't have even saw George Floyd and that issue if I was still allowed to be in the TV studios, shooting my TV show, doing comedy, because I'd be doing my own thing. Everybody would probably still be on the TV shows here filming in the city. You'd be doing your show. So we might hear about it, but we wouldn't be as engaged because now everybody's sitting still. It's on the news. It's on the radio station. I mean, I went to go watch something on BET, and I looked at it, I said, because I wasn't ready to watch the funeral. I channel surfed 5 different channels, and I said, well, I guess I'm going to watch it because it was on everything. So it's designed right now for everybody to be woke, for everybody to see that this police brutality is not new to black people, but now when it it has to affect the white people and this dumb president, because we didn't need to be locked up. The pandemic department was already created. That their job is to create a vaccine, tell us how to navigate, and we keep working and doing what we were doing. But no, because Obama created it, he got rid of it. And so, that's where we are, man.
Do you think things will ever change to go back to what we were used to? Because really, we are now living in a new normal. And our next guest tonight, when we bring her on, she's actually going to talk to us about how we shape this narrative. How do we let the world know that, we are dynamic people. We've been through a lot of different things, and that we are the biggest consumers. We spend so much money on products, services, that it's just incredible, but we're never truly appreciated for who we are. We are mimicked, mocked, adored, but never truly appreciated. I think that's a good way of saying that.
Underestimated, undervalued, and marginalized. Just to add to what you're saying, I think, first of all, this virus is going to pass and we are going to re-engage. But the thing is, everybody eyes is open. So I think when we re-engage, this is an opportunity now for the new, in 2008, they said more millionaires and billionaires was created. It's going to be the same now. You think about it. My wife, she's making face masks. So there's a job that she didn't have prior to this. And she's knocking them out and mailing them across the country. So it's going to always be a market. And you just have to keep your eyes on the prize. I think when we get back out, like I'm turning my garage into a bar. So I'm probably not going to, let's say if you had an event, I'll show up. But if I'm uncomfortable, I'll show up as an honor to you, and then I'm gonna leave. And people are doing that. Look at Nipsey's right here up the street from me. Nipsey was supposed to open up 3 months ago, and it probably would have pulled businesses from the Dayton game and the Family Den. At least nothing else, just check it out. Now, if it ever opens up, people gonna be hesitant because we're hesitant to go back to when our places do open up because we're not sure. But because black people are resourceful, we're going to figure this out. We're going to probably have masks that are more comfortable. We're going to, like you and I could touch. It's just that after I touch you, if I'm not comfortable with who I touch, immediately I have to put the antibacterial on. And then every night I call my mother. I said, drink you some hot coffee or some hot tea, because they said if you inhale droplets, the hot stuff will help to bring it down to your stomach, and your stomach, whatever chemicals will kill it. Because you don't want it to exist in your chest area, because that's when it attacked the lungs.
Oh, okay. All right. So we went from Nipsey's opening up to killing other black business to drinking hot liquid for droplets, right? I'm just trying to make sure I'm covered it.
We legalized marijuana at the beginning of the year, so leave me alone.
I got you. I was trying to make sure I knew where this was going. I just thought I was just trying to get in there.
No, you know what? All right, you said it's a new norm, which means we got to grab this and put it together to make it fit. I'm saying I mentioned different things because we're resourceful.
Yes.
And so I was just grabbing I might have to grab this. I might have to do this, put it together. And I'm still going to party. I'm still going to embrace people, but I'm just going to be very tentative when I do it. And I know you're doing the same thing. You survived something, so you fit in that pre-existing category. I know you ain't just willy-nilly. Even the things that you normally talk about and do, I know you really yes, I can handle some things, but I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about that COVID-19. You can handle
Okay.
chlamydia, but COVID is a whole nother beast.
Oh my. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, we need to continue to move on with tonight's show. Rome, this is for you. You a damn fool. That is hilarious. I think that might be for you. I don't know if it's for me or for you or not. Ladies and gentlemen, I
Yes.
do have some news that has just come in. As you guys all know, most of the major summer festivals here in the city of Chicago have been canceled, or they've all been
Canceled.
through Labor Day. It has just been announced that the famous music festival, Coachella and Stagecoach Music Festivals, have all been canceled. As you guys all know, the two festivals were originally supposed to have been in April of this year, and they have been moved to October of this year. Well, the public health officials in Riverside County have now said that there's no way in the world they'll be able to have either one of these two festivals. And from me having conversations with a couple of entertainers, I was told that most entertainers will not be going back on tour until the fall of 2021. So your favorite entertainers who had residencies in Las Vegas, had world tours, things like that, they will probably not come back until the fall of 2021. And that's something wrong. The entertainment industry is
Yes.
really taking a huge hit. It's taking a huge hit. It really
You know
is.
who's the promoters are taking the hit. The entertainers are already paid.
Yeah,
Are you aware that the pandemic fall in that category where you don't have to refund ticket money? It's that small clause that in our lifetime we've never had one. So, because the West Texas, we're gonna refund, and then they realize we don't have to. And it's probably the
yeah,
same thing with Lollapalooza and everything here. We don't have to
yeah.
refund because it falls under that. Not to mention,
Right.
every artist that has signed on got half of their money already.
Yeah, we had an
So
insurance
yeah,
agent on Monday night, and the insurance agent was saying that a lot of people are not going to be able to recoup their losses because nobody really has an insurance policy that says you are covered against looting and rioting. Like, who would have thunk it? You know what I'm saying?
right, exactly.
Fire, water damage, all of that. But who would have ever in a million years thought looting and rioting? Well, Rome, I
Right.
want to move on to our next guest tonight. Our first guest this evening is a young lady who has 13 plus years of being a public relations practitioner. I've watched her career grow in leaps and bounds, and she is probably, to me, a new generation of thought leaders, a new generation of people who figure out the world in which we live in. We must be recognized. We must be direct and targeted about what we say. She is the creative director and founder of Agency Abron, and she is a wonderful young lady. Please welcome Vanessa Abron. I know I got that last name right. I know I did. How are you? Can you hear
I'm
me?
good. I can. I had to make sure I was off mute. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can, Vanessa. You look amazing tonight. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm well. How are you, Rome, as well? I heard you guys
How are
cutting up
you?
before I
Old
came in.
school. You have that old school smile. I'm loving it.
I think
Yes,
it's the gap.
that's what I'm talking about. I love it.
Thank you.
Ooh,
So,
ooh.
Vanessa, do me a favor. Pay no attention to the dirty old man, honey. I'm honored to have an international PR person who has worked with such companies as Target and Nike, and you sitting up talking to an old man in sweat socks. I love it. No, yes. So, do me a favor. Tell everybody about yourself, your agency, some of your background and experience. But you're really here tonight to help us to talk about what will the narrative be going forward as it pertains to the justice, the racial justice movement that we're facing. Go right ahead. Glad to have you here.
Yes, background. Oh my gosh. So honestly, I'll start by saying that what a lot of people don't know is that I started my career in music. I did a lot of music internships um, with Atlantic Records, Hidden Beach, and coming back home to Chicago after college, I worked with Shrewd Marketing and Promotions, which then segued into a career in public relations, where I started working with agencies on brands such as those that you listed, like Target, Nike, Adidas. craft foods, Hershey's, things like that. So I've done everything from consumer to public affairs to corporate to entertainment. After I left the agency world, I went on to do PR and marketing at Johnson Publishing Company, then home of Ebony Magazine and Jet Magazine and Fashion Fair Cosmetics. And I was doing PR for all of those brands solo. Went on to work at Nielsen for a quick minute. And then from there, I realized that it was time for me to step out on my own. So for the past 5 years, I've been working independently and got the opportunity to work with a lot of wonderful brands, including a lot of pivotal brands in Chicago, Black brands, and organizations such as Ladies of Virtue and Centers for New Horizons and Indie Soul Journeys and Matt B, who's an entertainer, just so many different people and so many different brands. So just keeping it going. Yeah, I think I said enough.
You know what I love and adore about you is you are so humble, and I've been knowing that your career has always been in the forefront of just keeping people aware of the world in which we live in. You have always been the ear and the voice of our community. And so tonight we're going to kind of talk about everything that has happened. We're not even bringing up COVID in this as much as we're bringing up what has happened since the day we learned the name George Floyd and how the world is now going to have to pay attention to us, correct? How do we even start beginning the conversation, Vanessa? Where do we go to even begin it?
You just begin it. You just start. I think at this point, listen, I've been telling this to people in conversations with my friends. Trayvon Martin passed away in 2012. I remember it being 2012 because I remember I was dating this guy. And I remember being in the car with him and hearing that recording of Trayvon Martin in that 911 recording and crying my eyes out. That was 2012. It is now 2020. And it's like this conversation needed to be had. I think it needed to be had. We've been trying to have it. And actually, Rome said it earlier, like, because we're at home, I think it's allowing us is allowing us to magnify this story more because we are at home and we don't have as many distractions. And seeing it, I think it was just so, like, everyone was just like, okay, we're ready. Like, it was kind of like a divine time. And everyone's been
Yeah.
talking about how 2020 is the year to throw away. And it's not. It's not the year to throw away because you can't get to those next levels until you kind of correct the things that's the things that's going on. So we needed to correct these things so we can get to the next level. So the thing is like there's no real eloquent way to have the conversation at this point. I think we've been trying to figure out cute, perfect ways to have this conversation without making people feel uncomfortable, and that wasn't happening. And so we realized that by trying to tiptoe, by trying to not, step on eggshells, by trying to keep everyone's feelings into consideration, that wasn't working. So we have to throw that out the window right now because it was happening since 2012. Actually, longer than that if you consider, the civil rights movement in the heyday of our parents. So just have it and be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to not be eloquent. Today I saw a brand, someone posted a brand, it's called Eloquy. It's a plus size women's brand. And they literally made a post that said, we're so sorry, we're quiet. We were quiet because we didn't even know what to say. We don't know what to say. We don't even know where to start. And I think by acknowledging that, just that's the first step. Is like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, but
But
Vanessa, here's what I'm looking at, and I'm even going back to you. Look, honey, you were not even probably born when all this happened, but I'm looking at Dr. King. I'm looking at other situations in time that should have said to people, listen, the black equality thing is just not adding up. It's just not happening. We are not being treated the right way. You're right. I'm getting emails. I just got emails from a famous shoe store that just said, listen, we really don't know what to say. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Racism is the biggest thing out here that's very obvious. It happens all the time, but is it that we are so desperate and thirsty And I'm not just talking about we as black people. I'm just talking about, we need to get the work done. However your feelings are and how you think about this is whatever. Let's keep it moving. Because I've been through racism. Rome has been through it, and you've been through it.
That's the thing. We've been through it. We know that it's a thing. But like I said, I can even say, let me rewind a little bit. I just got through listening my resume of working with all these brands and everything that I did before I was independent. Before I was at Johnson Publishing Company, when I was working at agencies, most of the time I was the only black person. If I wasn't the only black person, I was one of five. And the concept of race was something that you just tiptoe around. It was not something we talked about. And I think a lot of times they want to believe that they're good people and things like that, but they have this unbiased, not unbiased, they have this biasness the unconscious bias that they have. It's just something you don't want to talk about. And then if you call it out, then you're being angry or you're being a problem starter or you're being sensitive. So we try not to say anything because we're junior level professionals and we're trying to keep our job and climb up the ladder. So we can't really call it out, but we're having huddles with other people of color and black people, on the side talking about how so-and-so got promoted and we did it and we did more than X, Y, and Z, or whatever that story may look like. It's like we've been living with it. They decided that this is uncomfortable. We don't want to deal with it. Let's move on. And it's this elephant in the room that just kept growing and growing. And it's like we can't ignore this elephant anymore because it's about to suffocate us, literally. And that's just what it is. We've been living with it. They haven't. They've been able to live their life without acknowledging it. They live in their communities amongst their peers, and then they hang out with us when it's convenient. They borrow from us when it's convenient. But when it comes to the heavy issues, like George Floyd, like Trayvon Martin, like Breonna Tate, like when it comes to those issues, that's like let's not cover that. That's kind of like too heavy.
You know what? I've been in that situation not once, but twice. And I just told a friend of mine that I am literally going to find me an attorney that can help me to go back now more than ever with all this stuff that is going on in our country and being an abused black man. And I want my cases brought back and opened back up because you're absolutely right. We're so afraid when you do say something, you become the troublemaker, you become the agitator. Other black folks don't want to stand up and support you, but they know damn well something was done wrong. And that's now where we need to learn to stick together and speak up for each other. But then we also need to go back and correct all of the ills that have been going on for so long. Rome, you want to add something to that? Rome?
Let me add to that. I think what we first, I want to give credit to the youth. I call it entitlement characteristic. I raised 3 kids, did everything I could to just give them a decent life. But I looked up and told my wife, I said, when they get so entitled? But that entitlement characteristics went to the streets and told our government, we came out, we're civil rights babies. So we kind of had a little like, let's kind of fit in like you just talked about. I'm the only black guy in corporate America, so I don't want to ruffle feathers. I just want to move up. And they say you move up and then that's when you make changes. This entitlement that's hit the streets, they like the government owe us and they owe us now. We're not taking it. And then the white people that are their friends, they go to school with, they like the racism that existed in our generation. A lot of them are like, that's not true. Black people are not this way. Mexicans are not this way. So they hit the streets, but they all have one thing in common. They feel so entitled that they choked on, like, how dare you treat us this way? And they're marching and they're willing to take any pain that come with it. We, right after civil rights, we kind of like, okay, we got some jobs. The movie that Robert Townsend did, it's like, what happened to the revolution? We marched downtown and brother, they was giving out jobs. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the reality. We got the job and we got comfortable, which it should be okay. Don't tell me to work hard, to play hard, and then because while I'm playing, the enemy is coming after me. We need to change this where we should all be able to work hard and play hard. The fruits of my labor. Yeah. This is capitalism. If I work hard, I should get my rewards. And
And
this
I
young
think
man,
part of
go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
think part of
Vanessa.
that too was like what you said was like even with my parents and whatnot is like we were taught that okay, you grow up, you play it safe, you go to college, you get a good job, you dress a certain way, you act a certain way, you talk this way. If you do that, then you'll be okay. And we did all of those things, and guess what? It still didn't
And it
matter.
wasn't
And I
okay.
think that was the thing we have to realize that even if we assimilated and we compromised who we were for the 9 to 5 and what have you, we thought that by assimilating, conforming, camouflaging, that that was going to make it better, and it didn't. We realized that it didn't. Homeboy, what's his name? What's it? Christian Cooper in in New York got called. The woman called the cops on him, and he's bird watching. Think what is he? An Ivy League
Right.
graduate, wrote for Marvel.
Yes.
Still
Right,
happened to
right.
him.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that
we're
something?
seeing. Hmm.
Right. That to me is absolutely amazing that he was not a run of the mill average brother. This man was well accomplished, the leader of the bird watching organization, all of that. And for her to think that he was just some average run of the mill black dude. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
So yeah, we're starting to see that this whole
Bird watching.
conforming thing is not like nope. So it's like it's nothing we can do. It's like I mean it is something we can do, but it's like it's not about conforming who we are because like you said, they take what they borrow from us, what they want to borrow from us. They take hip hop from us. They take the clothing that we wear, the words that we say, incorporate it into their culture, but then want to leave the rest.
Yes. You've come up with honey, you right. You dead on, baby. You did look, you dead on. You absolutely right. You've come up with an amazing list of things that you want us to do as everyday people to kind of just stay aware. Now I'm gonna start the list. You want us to pray, meditate, and set intentions on how we can change that narrative. Real quick, we're gonna continue to go through your list, but give me an example of how we need to work that combination right there. Prayer, meditation, and set intentions. I love it.
Because it's the foundation. It's the foundation of everything. I don't believe that we come from church homes, or we. If you're not a church person, you believe in some type of spirituality. If you're not a spiritual person, you at least believe in setting the intention or setting the goal to do what you want to, what you want to do. So set the intention. Know that okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we want. God, let me, coming to you. Set the tone. We got to set the foundation. So the foundation is through prayer, meditation, and setting the intention, whether it's one or a combination, all of them, of all of them. We have to do that because anyone who goes to church know that you start your day with God. If you're spiritual, you start your day with meditation or whatever, releasing, grounding, whatever that may be for you. All of that sets the tone for the
Mhm.
atmosphere.
I agree. I agree. You're absolutely right. Next thing on the list is vote. You're absolutely right about that. I think hands down, we all agree that the best way to get through this situation is to vote and change what is currently guiding us and controlling us right now. And I'm not going to shout out no names, any of that, because I don't want my show to get banned. But voting is essential. I agree. Don't you agree, Rome, that voting would be essential?
Every rip, I vote every election. I think I missed one primary because I was sick. Other than that, since first of all, I've been voting since second grade because when I was in second grade, the Nixon McGovern they taught us how to vote in second grade. But when I
Mhm.
turned 18, I've been casting my vote, and there's a difference too in society. I was taught how to vote in second grade. My children was taught by me, not the school system, how to vote and what's the difference between local, state, and federal government. So there's a big difference. But I'm always a
Okay.
voter.
All right, very good. Vanessa, next on your list, I love this. You want us to engage with our local elected officials. What is the significance of us engaging with them?
So what a lot of people don't realize, especially when it comes to police, is that's a municipal thing. So our mayor is in charge of how funds are allocated to the police. Even if you live in a village or a suburb, it's mainly policing is a very hyper local thing. So by engaging with your alderman, your mayor, like on a very local level, that is how you manage your police and how to get change made from the police, with the police and the funding and things of that nature. That's on a very basic local level. Make them know who you are. Like you have, like I've noticed that those who are engaged with their aldermen, with their state local officials that go to these meetings, those are the ones like the squeaky wheel gets the oil, basically.
Yes, yes. I agree with you 100%. Next on your list is pay attention to where and how you spend your money. I couldn't agree with you more on that statement. What do you want to say about that? Because I'm so depressed that our neighborhoods, our inner city Black neighborhoods here in Chicago, are all destroyed. And now we have to go spend our money in the suburb. But even if this wasn't the situation, what's your thought on that, Vanessa?
So Rome said it earlier. I was listening to you guys. He said it earlier. We have to hit people in their pockets. The reason why we've been able to the reason why they've been able to do this for so long is that we have not been committed to how we spend money. Like we're going to KFC, Popeyes, Home Depot, things of that nature. And not to say that the organizations that I listed were bad companies, but they may be. Look at how they're spending their money. Some of these companies that I've listed have invested in the Trump campaign. So by you investing in their business by buying their chicken sandwiches or buying their fertilizer or what have you, that money, even though you don't support that candidate, is essentially going to support the candidate that you don't want. So you have to pay attention to the companies that you where you spend your money. If pay attention if a company isn't speaking up or if they are saying we are not for this or against this, spend your money with the people that support the causes that you support and pay attention to the ones who spend their money on causes that you don't support. And as African Americans, we really have to be conscious of trying to buy Black as much as possible. Like we have to support each other. Like I'm very conscious, like when I buy my lotions and my like this lipstick that I'm wearing, it's made by a Black owned businesswoman, Freedom Naturally Beautiful. It's a Black owned company, vegan, all natural. Um, be very conscious of how you spend your, like you support them. Like we have friends and family and we want to overlook them to go buy Mac or Louis Vuitton and we're out here struggling ourselves, like invest in ourselves.
Yes.
So when we take money away from them, like when they start seeing that we're not spending money on them, they have to listen to us because money talks.
I agree. I agree 100%. Another thing that you've added to your list is that we should support causes, organizations, and non-for-profits that offer tangible solutions. I could not agree with you more on that particular situation. You are absolutely right. I am doing my best to try to give back to the community in many ways. How did you come up with the theory of doing all that?
Because I work with a lot of nonprofits in my line of work. They reach out to me often to get visibility for the things that they're doing. We have a lot of nonprofits who are investing the money that they have in rebuilding the community. And I'm glad that we're having the conversation about, taking some of the money away from policing neighborhoods and instead investing them into the community because essentially that's what we need to build the community. I've always been against the notion that, oh, this neighborhood has so much violence, so let's put more police. And that would irk me so much because that would give the opposite effects. Like what they need is more education. What they need is more economic opportunities. What they need is more counseling. What they need is more food and medical attention. That's what these companies need. If you take a look at some of these larger suburban neighborhoods or even smaller suburban neighborhoods, they have a small police force, but they have a robust number of economic opportunities. They have adequate access to health care. They are getting mental health. They have things for their kids to do when they're out of school. They have things to do. So is investing in your community and some of these nonprofits that's trying to build the community goes a long way. And it doesn't have to be like it could be something simple like the Centers for New Horizons, who work primarily with African American and brown and brown communities where they're working to give them economic opportunities, who's making sure that your children has access, that your children has access to daycare where they're also learning and can grow on a very highly academic level.
I love it. I do. I think you are absolutely right about all of this. I think the beginning of this conversation and how we'll close it out is just trying to have that very difficult conversation that so many people have been afraid of even trying to approach it. Rome, is there anything you want to ask our guests tonight as it pertains to this conversation of how to start the conversation?
Oh, that was for me. Oh, I didn't hear what you said, Art.
Oh, can you hear me okay? Can you hear
I
me
didn't hear
okay?
the question. Yeah, I can hear.
The
Yeah, but I
question
didn't hear the question.
do you have anything for our guest tonight to ask her about what she was saying about how important it is for us to get this conversation started and to be heard?
No, I actually wrote her list down. I totally agree. I don't need to add to that. She got a very complete list of things. She had 2 things on here I didn't think about, but I'll come in. How do you say it in church? I come in agreements with Vanessa, so no, I don't need to add to that. Enough said. No, you
Very
covered it. She
good.
covered it, and I would just ramble on if I repeat what she said. So I'm not gonna waste the airwaves.
Very good.
Yeah, she
Vanessa,
covered it.
how do we get started? What can we do now? Let's say starting Monday, we want to have this kumbaya moment. How do we best do this and be able to get this kumbaya moment started? I don't care where you are, whether it's employer, whether it's the white person you sit next to on the train, whatever the case may be. How do we get this conversation started?
I think we need to start volunteering ourselves. So one thing that I did right before I joined this call, and I'm about to put myself on blast, is I'm a member of a country club where I am one of very few African Americans, and they put out an email about how to have a conversation. And I raised my hand. I said, "Hey, I'm here. If you guys want to talk, I'm ready. Let's go." Like I just put myself out there and said it as I see them trying to figure it out. The company that said, "Oh, we don't know what to say," I reached out to them. I was like, "Hey, my name is Vanessa Abron. I work in public relations. How can I help you? How can I help you have this conversation?" And you don't have to work in public relations to do that. You can just be a customer. Like, "Hey, I would like to, invite someone from your company to do a community virtual talk with me and my friends of XYZ sorority or this civic organization that I'm a part of or our local PTA or our block club. Like let's get this rolling. Let's talk. Like start inviting people."
I agree. I agree 100%. Now more than ever, we need to do this. I tell people I'm not necessarily mad about COVID-19 and the fact that a lot of us had to pivot. I am just so upset about the situation with George Floyd, but I now think that this is also another point to pivot and be able to have these conversations that have been just so needed for so many years, and now we're able to have this particular dialogue. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree because I'll be honest, I was scared to have this conversation. I was scared. I worked across racial lines. I felt like I had to conform. I couldn't speak up. I had to just smile and nod, like, "Yeah, I got it." And have thoughts in the back of my head. I felt like I couldn't say anything. Now I feel like I have the support to say something. And I think a lot of people felt that way because they didn't have the support. Like now we feel comfortable because we have the support and so many people are coming out to support us. And one thing I can say is like I am actually really and it's awkward because some of my Caucasian friends have come out to me like, "How can I help?" Use them. Tell them how you can help. Like don't frown up at them like, "Well, nah, where was you when you did X, Y, and Z?" Like let them repent. Like let them repent. Like isn't that what we want? Like we can't just say, "Oh, well, you did this and you didn't understand when we had this conversation 5 years ago." Like if they're ready now, then let's take advantage of them. Like let's stop not allowing them to repent. If they're ready to help and they're serious about it, let them help.
Wow, I agree. I agree 100%. I do. I honestly do. Rome,
Let me
anything
say
you
that.
want to say in closing as pertain to this conversation?
I want to add to when I talk to my white friends and when I mentor black people, I said know the difference between white supremacists and white entitlement. Because the thing is, white supremacists are the people who want to eliminate, don't want to be around us Jews or whatever. But white entitlement, that's been the dangerous last 3 decades because they go, I don't see color. I've lived in Utah, North South Dakota. I've never been around blacks. I don't have a negative about black, but I don't have a positive. It's not of their concern until they saw what they saw. And because I've had world travels, people in the hood think they know what's going on. There are a lot of people did not know until they saw the Rodney King's beating. They thought police treated everybody like they got treated. Now you can see, and like you said, if you have a real white friend, because I got white friends that was playing the game until this started happening, and I became very militant. They backed away. Even my Christian friends, when I became militant, they backed away. So Vanessa's nailed everything, and I'm just saying, I just want to add that little nugget of know the difference between a white supremacist and a white entitlement. That the white entitled person, you can educate them and tell them what you experience is not what we experience, and now you see, and this is what you could do to help, or go back and share with your friends, and don't tell your friends who think, oh, it's not that. Take the time to explain to them, because if you never hear the truth, you never know it. I mean, this United States of America has always been a fallacy. Now we're waking up to go, what is real about America? And what we need to let some things go is, what's the word? Leisure. Remember when everybody wants to lose weight now, but when super size came into play, people forgot what portion size was. So we need to let go all this extra leisure, because now that we can't do things, we're listening, we're hearing, and then we have time to digest what just happened and how am I going to engage in the future. And I'm speaking for the young people. I'm listening to my children and their friends. And when you turn on the news, it's not old people they showing now. They're showing young, intelligent black men and women, heterosexual, LGBT, it doesn't matter, speaking and profoundly speaking about what's happening and how they're not going to stand for it. And to that, I have to applaud every day. I go, you know what? I thought the children of our future meant damn, 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 but nope, they're doing it. And
I love it.
Vanessa
I
seemed
really
like you're
do.
part of that.
I think they are too. I think they're doing a much better job than our age demographic. I think that
Yeah.
these young people are like, look, this some bull, and we need to control and handle this situation and make it different. Vanessa, in closing, my dear, you did an outstanding job tonight, honey. I have to have you back again. I love you. You did a great job. Please give us your closing statement and then tell everybody how we can find you and follow you. And we'll go from there. You did a wonderful job tonight.
Thank you. My closing statement is that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is going to take some time. But we have people's attention, so let's use it wisely. I love what we're doing right now with the peaceful protests and continue to put positive images out there on media. Let's not rely on mainstream media to tell our stories. Let's continue to use platforms like this in our social media platforms. And this isn't the day of the civil rights era. So while some people have been slapping us on the wrist of, protesting by social media, it works because some people, that's the only way they are getting access to this sort of information. So please, if you are protesting through social media, if that's what makes you comfortable, do this. If it makes you comfortable to take one or more of these things, feel free to do this. If this is all overwhelming for you and the only thing you can do is pray, because then do that. Just, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, and you don't have to have all the answers today on your own.
I love it. I do. How can we connect, find, and follow you? All of that good stuff.
Yes, so you can follow me on all social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at agencyabron.com, or you can go to my website at agencyabron.com.
I love you. I do. I do.
I was not ready for that.
Girl, what the hell? You done brought the Mr. Kid out in
I want
it,
to give
Lord.
Vanessa the ass award.
Oh my God, that's donkey. That's an ass, Vanessa. That's what that is. A
Okay.
hot man. Okay, right. Well, Vanessa, you did an outstanding job tonight. I just love and adore you. Despite an ass showing up towards the end, you will come back and be on the show with me again, won't you?
Anytime.
All right, Vanessa, we love you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, public relations practitioner extraordinaire, my wonderful friend, Miss Vanessa Abron of Agency Abron. And we love you, darling. Great job. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Have a great night.
See you
Thanks
later.
again. All right. We just love her. She did an outstanding job. You became a total ass towards the end of that interview, Rome. So is that a costume
Hey,
you all?
well, every now and then I have the wife wear it, and I say, let's do it donkey style.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, I want to remind everyone to make sure you tune in tomorrow to my two shows. As you guys all know, I do two shows a day. Tomorrow at 12 noon, it is Soul Food, What Feeds Your Soul. I do that on Instagram. Instagram every day. I interview people who are some of the most fascinating people ever over a virtual lunch. We're still trying to confirm my lunch date for tomorrow, so I'll get the publicity out first thing in the morning to confirm our lunch date for tomorrow. But that's 12 noon on Instagram at Chat Daddy One. We had a wonderful guest today, Mr. Maurice Prophet. He's in the music as well as the theater world, and he was just talking about being a Black man raised in a northwestern suburb of Illinois. Black entertainment theater, and how he and his mom brought theater to Schaumburg, and how he's working in the music industry. And it was a really powerful conversation. When you guys get a minute, please go over to Instagram and check out today's show, as well as all the other shows are there. It's Soul Food with Chat Daddy, Monday through Friday on Instagram at 12 noon. And then tomorrow night on the show, I'll welcome actress and comedian Erica Watson. She'll be here tomorrow night. She'll be not only my co-host, but she'll be my guest the entire evening. And we're going to talk about the dichotomy of Black people and how we're all not the same, that we really we come in an array of styles, fashion, everything. And we'll break all of that down. And then it's Relationship Thursday. So we'll talk about relationships tomorrow as well, too. All right. So, Rome, are you okay? Having a good time? I appreciate you being the co-host tonight. You okay?
I'm thinking already. I need to show up tomorrow because, I love relationships, and I like whenever I hear people talk about the many facets of Black people. When they think about the continent, we always say we ought to come together, but we're from Africa, and Africa's not a country; it's a continent full of different Africans with different cultures, and we need, what was the movie? The Black Panther. Some people put pans in their mouth or spread their earrings or tattooed or piercings. Those are different cultures, and they represent. It ain't for fashion. It represents something, and we need to really understand that when you do something and when you call to do something, it's okay. But can you explain why you don't just do it just to do it? Have a purpose. We got to get back to Black people community used to be a purpose,
Right. Some ignorant MF just posted in my inbox, go back to Africa. This is our country. And they had nerve enough to tag themselves as Joe Biden. So I just had to block them from being able to access any comments on this show.
Right.
This show is not about hatred. This show is not about racism. This show is about trying to educate people on the plight of people. And if this is not your cup of tea, then I ask that you do not watch the show and do not feel my timeline with your hateful messages. That's all I'm gonna say on that. All right, let's continue to move on. As we said earlier in the show, a lot of us have experienced what is called COVID-15. That's just like the freshman 15. That's just like the going off to college 15. And these two people that we're getting ready to talk to now have been dubbed the Jay-Z and Beyonce of fitness. And when I tell you they both got pow pow and pow pow and pow damn, they got it. So tonight they're here to talk to us about what we need to do, Rome, to be able to pull them guts back in. You know, I think we at the age where our guts are beauty marks now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
It
like we
is.
earned.
Oh yeah.
We earned the fat assness. You know what I'm saying? We earned the
Yes.
fat assness
Yes.
at this.
I
So I
embrace
just think, right. I just think, this is what we do. This is who we are. But these two people that are getting ready to come on with us tonight, that ain't what they believe in. The one gentleman is Mr. Earl Bell. He is the founder and CEO of Ratio 1 to 1 Fitness, located in Homewood, Illinois. And the Beyonce of this situation is a global fitness icon. She is a queen in Japan. Over here in the United States, we be like, hey, Chie, hey. Over in Japan, she has to have bodyguards. She has to have people escorting her through airports. She is all that and then some. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
You got to go back.
Oh my God.
What up, man?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good to see you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to see you both. I just love and adore you. Look, Chie, I'm always you like Cher to me. You just got one name, Chie. But
Right. Exactly.
Introduce yourselves. Tell everybody who you are. Give us a little bit of your backstory, and then let's talk fitness tonight.
Okay, my name is Sir Earl Bell. I've been in the fitness industry for about 30 years. I'm the founder and CEO of Ratio 1 to 1 Fitness, and we're a couple of weeks away from opening up our second gym, which we call Next Level Fitness, which is right around the corner in Homewood. So I'm from Inglewood, born and raised, went through all those trials and tribulations, and just wanted to make a better life for myself. So got involved with bodybuilding and learned all the aspects of that. Decided to open up my club. Ratio has been in business about 24 years. And like I said, we're about to do our second location. So trying to grow this empire.
Very good. And sitting next to you is a superstar. It's a superstar.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
My name is Chie Pedui. I am an international figure competitor, and I'm also the co-owner of Ratio 101. And also, I have my own company, Figure Prodigy International LLC. I'm also a mother with three. Actually, my children are grown now, but I came into this, this country. Well, it's been 25 years. And it's been my fitness journey. Because of American food, I gained weight to about 175 pounds. I'm only 5'1", and now I am improving myself, health and fitness, through the health and fitness. And I am now is an international competitor, figure competitor, and I oversee in Japan. I am a top in Japan. So I'm on their magazine, on their fitness magazine. So yeah.
Very good. Now, as we've been talking about gaining this extra 15 pounds due to COVID. So I kind of want to start off with what can we do to just get back to healthy eating? Because see, I want gravy, I want extra cheese. I want gravy and extra cheese on everything, even my cereal. What does a day?
First off, we're not gonna blame it on COVID. We're gonna blame it on people sitting there eating all the wrong stuff. Okay, so we know people that gain 15 over a month. So it's not the COVID. It all boils down to choices. What you choose to eat is always going to reflect. It's like anything. You make negative choices, you're gonna have negative circumstances. Same thing with food choices. You make bad food, and it's not to say that you can never have what you like to eat, because I enjoy me a great cheeseburger just like the next man. It's just do everything in moderation. So what people got to do is just get back to eating right, and start back walking, riding a bike, trim. A lot of people were doing in-home exercises, which is really good, but it's just a matter now of just adjusting the nutrition. And just start out with just something simple, with not adding so much junk to your food. and then start altering your meals and eating healthier foods and stuff like that?
Well, but one thing, because we stay home and those are everyday activity, you realize you get up, you get ready for work, you go, get on a train, go downtown, you will walk to your job and coming back. So all the activity is gone. Now you sit home and the calorie that you used to burn, you don't burn no more. So, but you take in calories still the same. So actually sometimes ended up maybe gain 10, 15 or more. So, I think it's really your activity level, how much calorie you take in, you really need to consider.
Okay, I agree with you on that. That makes sense. That's
Yes.
perfect. Now,
Yeah.
what kind of fitness, what is a easy, simple fitness routine that we can add to our workout regimen? Let's say, somebody looking at this show has been very sedentary during this quarantine. What are at least 4 things that we can do to get moving again?
Bike riding, walking. I would say ride a bike, do some aggressive walking, at least a couple of miles a day. Sit-ups if you can perform them correctly, and some type of movement, especially ladies, you want to do more lunges and things like that for your lower body. So those are 4 simple things that can be performed without the use of a commercial gym. Walking being one of the best things that you can do. And the point of walking is not necessarily to make your body burn fat, although it does, it's to sweat. So even if it's warm outside, put on you a solar belt, a sweatshirt, some sweatpants, and excrete some of that water. Most people gain water weight as opposed to fat. That's why the weight fluctuates 4 to 8 pounds a day, because it's more water. So what we want to start doing is sweating that water out. And, the best way to do that, the weather's been pretty nice outside, is to wear you a nice sweatshirt, a nice waistband, and just walk you a couple of miles. Don't do like some of the people I see. They walking, talking on their phone, cracking jokes with it. I mean, get out there and walk, do some aggressive walking. And that's probably like the number one thing that you can just start with. That's pretty simple and basic.
I think it's also that, since we now utilize a lot of social media online, and also myself, I started with the Zoom training session with my clients. So I think, if you are sitting at home and you don't want to necessarily go outside, it is so many apps or so many the trainers, yoga teacher that offer free classes online. So I think you can utilize those. Be connected online on the social media. You can just they offer you a lot of free exercising, and but if you can connect it with your friend, actually a couple of my clients, they actually get together and work the trails or bike riding and things like that. And so I think it's going to depend if you want to. Still kind of scary about the situation of COVID-19, don't want to go outside, you can actually, do that online at home. Or if you're nice outside, now start getting warm outside so you can, take yourself to the trail and, work some miles.
Oh, I love it. I do.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for our fitness experts tonight? That's Jay-Z and Beyonce of the fitness world. You know what I'm saying? Look, that's swole and tender. I got to give Earl, I'll never call him tender. He tough. You know what I'm saying? Anything you have for our guest tonight, Ron?
And they look like they worth a billion pennies.
Funny.
Hey, I want to thank you though, because I actually tomorrow my spin cycle that I used to ride at LA Fitness gets delivered tomorrow, because you were talking about sitting around the first 3 or 4 weeks of the pandemic. I was fighting depression, uncertainty. So I was eating bad. I knew every time I ate bad, but I kind of psyched myself out and said, I don't care. Tomorrow's not promised. I was burying people. And my best friend went in. He survived. But for a couple of weeks, I thought that was, it was it. But then once he survived and I started hearing more people were surviving, the inner of me decided to fight back. I said, I know how to work out. I know how to eat well. Plus, my wife's a foodie, so my wife make everything taste good. So we eat 2-3 portions of vegetables. Good. If I eat meat, it's that small. So, like I said, but when I said, what's the best thing for me because I have a bad knee? That spin cycle, because I can't do. I have to do no. What's the impact? But that spin cycle, 17. My goal is 1,700 calories in an hour.
There you go.
I did it when I was at LA. Yes. So you just have to, and what I tell people, I said, yes, you're gonna be afraid and depression and go through all that, but then tell yourself, okay, enough. If you're gonna live, fight.
Yes.
And then boom, because I have not gained any weight. None. Except for that water weight. So so thank you, Earl. Next time somebody said, what happened to me? I said the water won't fall off.
Well, I
got that water weight.
I can hear from a couple of clients. They were saying that they started getting depressed and then they start drinking more. Time to be every night now. They start drinking and things like that. So I think it's a lot of, in the beginning, everybody was, okay, this is how it's going to be. What's the future? So it's a worry. And I think they went through so much on them also.
I think as a people, we're resilient. And of course, when this first hit, we've never been sheltered and you can't go anywhere. So no one knew what was going on, how long it was going to last, or any of that, how severe, or somebody knock at your door, you're going to catch COVID-19. But after a few weeks, as I said, we're resilient people, and people started to say, okay, things aren't that bad. Let me get back to normal. And what happens is when you just sit and do nothing, that's when the depression sets in. Yeah. And people just started making the best of the situation they were in. I know people that started eating more, they started spending more time with their kids. A lot of different things after they adjusted to the initial shock of what was going on. And that's what happened with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100% on that. Let me ask you both, what is the best thing to help crave the sugar and salty cravings? I'm one of the people like, Lord, I want it sweet and I want it salty. But again, I know you're the queen of telling people.
Oh my God, you don't understand. You see my before picture. I have a fat girl in me.
I think there's two things that'll help with that. One is magnesium supplements, because magnesium is heavy in sugar, chocolate, things, and salt. So it's heavy on magnesium. So by taking the supplements, it curtails it a little bit. And the second one is choices. I'd love to eat Harold's chicken every day, but I can't look how I want to look eating Harold's chicken every day. I love Harold's chicken. I grew up on Harold's chicken in Leon. So, that's a food that I like, but I have to make a choice based on my health. And because I thought I had COVID back. I still think I had it, but I was in the hospital for like 5 days. I dropped 35 pounds. Back in October
last year.
Yeah, being in the hospital and everything like that. Then they found out I was borderline diabetic and blood sugar and all this stuff. So I have to even take more special care than what I did before. And it's not like I was eating bad before, anything like that. But, I down a 2-liter 7-Up before I go to bed at night. And Chia used to always be like, you're going to be diabetic. I'm like, don't be wishing that bad luck on me. But when I went to the hospital, they were like, hey, your blood sugar is out of whack. So I had to give up piles of choice. I haven't had pop since I left the hospital. So I made that choice, and I just...
You didn't know that there's a drink of pop.
Man,
now
7-Up, man. I was down a 2-liter at my last meal of the night.
It's bad.
So Earl, when I smoke my weed, I should drink a glass of milk of magnesium, and that would help.
When you smoke your weed, drink some water and take a magnesium tablet.
You said magnesium.
Right, the tablet, not magnesium water, regular vitamin supplement.
And they did not say milk of magnesia, you fool. They didn't say milk of magnesia.
No, magnesium supplement. And stay away from Doritos when you smoke the weed too.
Well, I always, tell my clients, because I have myself the salt or the sweet craving, so I utilize sometimes like a protein smoothie or even a protein bar, protein chips. It's like little bit more less sugar, and then they also you can also take in good nutrition or protein. I will kind of nowadays they have so many good products. I am actually now GNC Japan ambassador, but it's so many good products in the store that you can purchase. Instead of grabbing Snicker bar, you can grab some of good taste good and protein bar. So those are what I suggest to many of my clients that I've been talking to. So I give myself tips all the time.
Yes, people are loving this segment. They are loving it, loving it, loving it. So, oh, they are. They really are. Rome, what you got? Another question for our fitness expert?
Hey, Rome, I used to smoke a lot of weed too when I was younger, man. I smoke a lot.
When I looked at you, said I know Earl. I said, wait a minute, but this was great confirmation on what we need to do, because like we was talking earlier about the new norm,
right?
But prior to the new norm word, more people were starting to exercise, especially when you're 56. So the older group be like, well, we need to. I'm not trying to change my body shape. I'm good with being round, but I like to go to the doctor, and the doctor tells me my blood sugar is great, my cholesterol is great. So yeah,
that's the thing that people are starting to come around to, and that's what we try to teach them as trainers. It's not about the vanity. We all want to look better, but it's about the health.
Right.
You want to live a better quality of life. We're not so stuck on trying to look like you did when you were, even though I look better than I did when I was 20, but we're not trying to recapture that, but it's about the health. And if we don't eat right, and we don't exercise, and eating right doesn't mean you can never have what you like. That's not what that means.
Exactly.
It means better than worse. You know what I mean? And exercising and like with your spin bike and things like that. Hey, it's about living a better quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you engage in cooking, I cook Chinese food 2-3 times a week, but I control how much soy sauce and sodium go into it. And I bake. I've been baking, so I know that I don't do anything processed. The other day I did the crock pot breasted chicken, because I still like my sandwiches, but I don't do nothing processed. You make your own.
All the restaurants being closed, and now you force
and just keep that's a new norm. Just keep doing it.
So I think that's even though this is kind of people take it as a really sad time, but to me this as as an opportunity that you can actually start moving more, or you can eat healthy more, you can create more at home and cooking more. I think you can do a lot of things that we are, being healthy.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people discovered that because they had no other choice.
Yes. Yeah.
And now that we know that, continue. I tell people all the time, continue with that. We know we don't have to go out and eat junk every day. We can just go home and save money. We can just go home and prepare our meals the way that we want to prepare our meals. We don't always have to go out. Before this pandemic happened, everybody was so busy going everywhere that no one slowed down to think about anything. But now, and they had to slow down for months. Not just. I think if the pandemic would have lasted a couple of weeks, we would have learned nothing. But I think by it lasting the 3 months, 2 months, 3 months, we've learned so many things about us as people, life and health, and wives and all that. I think.
Yes.
There's a positive lining in everything. It's a reason that everything happens. And I believe that instead of people looking at the negative of this, look at the positive, those things, like I said, like you cooking now, and they stuff was adding too much seasoning, so I'm not going to add as much, but it's still just as good. Before this, we didn't know it was going to be just as good. We wanted all the seasoning, put some on the extra, and now we just a little bit more health conscious.
Yep. Right. I couldn't agree with you guys more. I think that this is a perfect time for us all to learn something different, to pivot, move forward. I'm not mad about this at all. I'm definitely not mad at all. Chie, look, you got a special somebody putting a message.
How are you?
You, yeah, let me put it back up there. Hold on.
They told me she realized she's not really a drinker, you know, because if you don't go out,
she just acting like a drinker.
Because she likes to socialize it. So, and then you have 1 or 2 drinks. But then she socializes often, so you're going to end up having more drinks. But then now you don't, you know, you can not be able to go outside or social distance. So now she said, you know, I don't even really drink that much.
We've discovered a lot of things about ourselves, you know, because a lot was taken away. We've discovered a lot of things about ourselves, and my hope is we continue those things, you know, because this is winding down and it's ending. Let's not go back to that model of we're just so busy all the time. We see another side. We see that we can stay home, cook our food, enjoy our family, enjoy all those things, and still enjoy ourselves.
I love it. I do. I agree with you guys 100%. And you know, as Ursula's social media director and her social coordinator, I've been right. We've been picky and choosy about where we can go. And you're right. I'm not out there like I used to be.
Right.
Out there with me. But you guys are doing a phenomenal job with working with her and making, you know, her. She looks amazing. Her energy is incredible. Yeah, we do.
She tells me, hey, Chad, she tells me I talk too much. Every time I say it, she says, Earl, you know you talk too much.
Wait, Ursula told you talk too much?
Every day I see her.
And she the queen of talking. Earl, she the queen of talk. So that means y'all.
When someone talks as much as her tell you talking too much, you got to really re-examine your life, man.
I love it. I do. I love it. I love it. Do me a favor. Tell everybody how they can connect with you guys. You have a beautiful training facility out in Homewood. So tell everybody how they can connect with you.
Our training facility is located 1820 Ridge Road. It's called Ratio 1-to-1. There's 1 trainer to 1 client. That's what it means. Our phone number 708-922-9650. If they want to go online, Ratio 1-to-1 is spelled out RATIOONETOONE.com, and we're there. You know, we always answer. We always return calls. We always return emails and things like that.
We own also the social media, Instagram and Facebook as well. So you can leave that at Ratio 1-to-1 Fitness. Also myself, CHU, Choo Mom. That's my Instagram address. And Earl also have a podcast as well. Yep. Right. So you can.
The podcast airs every Sunday. We talk about different topics, so you ain't got to worry about going on there and being preached about as personal training. I'm a human being. I've lived a long life, so I have a lot of different things that's on there. IT''S, it's my world at Podbean. And you on YouTube. I have it on YouTube, Spotify, all those things. So you can catch that podcast anywhere. And I do put a fresh one up once a week.
Very good. One of our guests said, great duo you guys are. Chie, before I let you go, my love, I need for you to tell everybody how much of a superstar you are in Japan. Let's talk about that real quick, baby. Right, you are a superstar.
Yeah, she's bigger now, man. I have to ask her for an autograph now.
No.
I know. Look, every time I'm in her presence, I want to say, look, this is the queen of Japan. I'm standing next to her.
I love you so much. You are such a, oh my goodness. You know what? Actually, it's not Queen of Japan, but I'm a Miss Fitness over there. And my actually nickname is Muscle Nadeshiko. That's what the Japanese people call me. And like I said, I'm on the magazine. I also do seminars and guest appearances over there once or twice a year. About 2 weeks at a time. So, hopefully this is going to be aired in Japan. Actually, I put on my Facebook.
Hey, check that. Let me tell you a story real quick, right? We were at the Art Classic in Columbus, Ohio, and there's tons of people around. So one of the guys that's from Japan that I know, they don't know English. The people, they don't talk English. They talk all Japanese. So He's talking to me. I don't understand what the hell he's saying. So we go around this group of people, and he said, "Hey, this is Earl." And so they look at me like, "Okay." And he said, "This is Muscle Nadesco's fiance." Then they start bowing and shit. I'm like, "Oh, okay then." So now I didn't been downgraded to, I'm not important unless I introduce her, who I am to her.
I'm just a kid trying to share my fitness journey experience to everybody, trying to help everyone.
Well, you know what? We just gonna bow down to the queen because we love the queen, and we gonna do what's necessary to honor the queen. And look, Ursula says she stays on your case and make you eat right or else be good.
All the time.
That's right. That's what you do.
I'm from the hood. I like my food. So,
Me too. But Chie be on it. Ursula be like, no, I can't eat that. Chie kill me.
Yes.
Yes, she does. Well, Rome, is there anything you want to say to them in closing before we close out tonight's show? This has been a great segment.
Yes, it's been a great segment. And earlier you talked about during this pandemic, you're gonna take some time and you start getting to know your kids. I met one of my children about 3 weeks ago. I mean, we lived in the same house, but I never saw him until the pandemic. And I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity. We've bonded. Yes, I mean, he even got my last name. So, sometimes you have to slow down.
Hey, so you didn't need more, right?
And check out your environment.
Yeah. So you didn't need more,
but you know what? I will stop in. I don't know if you know my dentist. He's right there up the street from you. And I know my promoter used to, yeah. So I'm gonna have to stop in. Yes. I go to this right there, right before you get to Dixie Highway. You guys right before that, right?
Yeah. Well, we're right. We're right before this. But my new gym that I'm opening in 2 weeks is going to be on Dixie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come check you out.
Please stop by.
Very good. Well, Sir Earl and Madam Chie, the Queen of Japan, the fitness queen. The fitness queen. I love you both. I'll see you tomorrow. Be well. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Give us the website one more time, Earl.
www.ratioone.com. Ratio1to1.com.
All right, my beautiful Chie. I'll see you tomorrow, darling.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much. Pleasure. All right. Good night. Thank you. Wow. Rome, we've come to the end of yet another amazing show. We did the damn thing. We did it. In closing,
this was good. This was good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, it's always good to meet. As we say, this is a new norm. You're bringing people on the show to help us navigate that new norm. And like Earl said, every now and then you can eat a hamburger or whatever your craving is. Just don't overindulge. And then you work out. Find out what that workout is for you. And then we had a young lady on earlier. I was like, this is with Vanessa. So I like what you're doing. You keep introducing us to people to help us navigate this new norm. Because it's definitely, in 2001, we stopped going into the airports. We didn't stop living. So now when we bury people, we'll get a videotape or something. I don't know. It's going to be a norm. But we were never supposed to have funerals anyway, according to the Bible.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're not supposed to mourn the dead. What happens when you go to a funeral? Everybody, oh God, somebody sing that precious Lord, and we all lose it. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to celebrate life, even the last chapter. So I think people will. I say it all the time. We may get a better understanding what that looked like. I mean, one of us gonna bury. Our friendship goes a long way, but one of us is gonna have the pleasure of burying the other, and probably even speaking at that moment. And I know I ain't gonna have nothing but good things to say because I travel, and vice versa. I told my child, I don't want a funeral. I want a picture of me on the wall with a microphone. And if somebody say something sad, turn that mic off, because my life, there's nothing sad about my life. Celebrate it.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Well, my friend, I hope that, I'm able to speak at your funeral when that time comes.
Oh, you don't want to win? You don't want to go first?
I was
You
told
don't
that I
want to
was
win that.
look, not one fortune teller, but two fortune tellers told me that I was gonna outlive a lot of people, and they didn't. And this wasn't at the same time. This was over a gap of years. And all I know is God has allowed me to continue to live through my adversities, through a lot of different
Yes.
things. So I will say nothing but beautiful things at your funeral, and I will not make it sad. I promise you that.
Right. There we go.
So I hope you
Great
live a
show,
long
though.
life. Yes. Thank you,
Oh,
my
yeah.
friend. I appreciate you so much. Tell everybody how they can find you, follow you, all that great stuff.
Rome Anthony on Facebook, Rome Anthony 50 on Instagram. I even got a TikTok, baby. Bored in the house because I'm in the house bored. Rome Anthony. It's everywhere.
You on TikTok, my friend?
Yes. I don't play with it. Oh, yes.
Oh,
Hey,
I was
and
thinking about doing on TikTok, but I have to see. I'm on enough stuff as it is now. All right, Rome. Well, I love you. With that
good
being
night. But
said,
my sister just called and said, tell you hi. Robin Hollis. She tell her
oh, I
hi.
love her. Tell her I said hello. I love Robin. She looks great. She just posted a picture of herself on social media. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of yet another show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Don't forget, tomorrow at 12 noon on Instagram, I'll be interviewing another wonderful person about what inspires them, what feeds their soul. The series is entitled Soul Food, What Feeds Your Soul. June is National Soul Food Month. And so I sit down with people of all walks of life just to get to know who they are and what really inspires them. And then tomorrow night, actress and comedian Erica Watson will be here. We'll talk about the versatility of Black folks, how we are very, it's many facets of us. And we'll make that happen, as well as we'll talk about relationship issues. And then I do want to remind everyone that this show is not about racism. This show is not about talking negative or down about anyone. I think that this show is very open and loving to let people understand African Americans, Black folks, however you say it, as long as you don't use the N word or use any derogatory or negative terms about us as African Americans. So I ask that you all please curtail your negative and nasty comments in the inbox, because guess what? I know how to cuss back in the inbox, but that's not where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to uplift, inspire, and motivate. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. This is about a kumbaya moment for us all. So on behalf of my co-host tonight, actor and comedian Rome Anthony, all of our amazing guests tonight, thank you so very much for spending your evening with me and us. And until tomorrow night, I love you guys. I do. Be safe, stay protected, do the right thing, wear your face mask, wash your hands, and cover thy ass. Right? Right? Cover thy ass. Right. Yes. Good night. Good night. So
Good
wait,
night, y'all.
real
Good
quick.
night,
So
y'all.
what is that in your bedroom? So do you and the wife like dress up and you play the ass every now and then, or how does that work?
Actually, I want her to play the ass.
Oh my. And with that said, good night, y'all. We
Good
out.
night.
Good night.